I'm very excited today to take a look at the new 4K of the Gun Fu classic Hard Boiled from Shout Factory. This is one of my 4K holy grails, and I'm sure it is for many others as well, and is up there with one of my favorite releases of the year that I thought would never get a good release, along with Michael Mann's The Keep from Vinegar Syndrome and Salute of the Jugger from Umbrella. Just goes to show you can never say never with this hobby. I'm still shocked yet pleased that we've finally gotten titles like The Abyss and The Fall. Seems like everything is on the table, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for 4K editions of Alien 3 and Resurrection, the rest of the Die Hard series, and of course the original theatrical versions of the Star Wars trilogy. Getting back to Hard Boiled though, this is from Shout Factory's Hong Kong Cinema Classics line. They recently acquired the North American licenses to the Golden Princess Library, which includes John Woo's catalog. It sounds like Arrow Video has got the UK rights for the same catalog, and I know some people are holding out for those editions instead. You do you, patience is a virtue I do not have, so here we are. Now there was a bit of an upset last week concerning this title, because of course there was. Places like Diabolic put out statements that they were not getting the full shipments they expected from Shout Factory, and that pre-order customers should expect a delay if not outright cancellations. Seems Shout did not produce enough discs to fulfill pre-orders for every outlet, but I just want to say that at the time of this recording, it can easily be obtained through Amazon. They seem to have plenty. Moving on to the packaging, we've got this nice, thick, sturdy slipcase with a glossy finish, and the artwork is fine by me. I've never really loved any of the poster art for this movie, so it doesn't bother me one way or the other. On the back, you can see all the features. There's a couple of new commentaries and a bunch of new interviews. Nothing new with Chow Yun-fat, unfortunately. There's a 52-page booklet included with several essays and promo stills. This is a 3-disc set, one 4K with the movie, one Blu-ray with the movie, and one Blu-ray with the special features. The artwork for the disc case does seem to be from the original poster, so that's a nice inclusion. On to the picture quality. This footage here is not a direct representation of this 4K disc and is meant for demonstrative purposes. The movie is on a 100GB disc. It's in Dolby Vision, and it has been remastered from the original negative, which is the big deal here. This movie has always had a rough presentation on home video. I first watched this movie on the Criterion DVD from around the year 2000. I subsequently got one of the early Fox Lorber DVDs, followed by one of the Dragon Dynasty releases, and I even have the Blu-ray that was included in the special edition of the Stranglehold video game on the PS3, though that was only in 1080i. Some of the other Blu-rays were only DVD upscales, and the point of all of this is that its history on home video is one of soft, fuzzy detail and video noise, along with damaged prints, and has never had a proper cleanup until now. There's a decent Variety article from earlier this year that breaks down the extensive and exhaustive restoration process from badly damaged negatives. It was a truly monumental endeavor, and the results are astonishing. This doesn't just look good for what it is. There's no caveat of, oh, this is fine given the limitations of the source. No, this looks fantastic for the 4K format as a whole. I was shocked to see very fine film grain present throughout. I had always assumed this was shot on whatever cheap Chinese film stock was available at the time, and thus probably had rough, chunky grain if we ever even got a chance to actually see it. But from what I could gather, they used Kodak 5247 film stock, which was known for its natural color reproduction and moderate contrast. There's tons of other fine detail I noticed here for the first time, from visible thread texture on clothing present in medium shots, not just close-ups, to razor-sharp text on background advertisements. There's shots of facial features, skin textures, and hair that are as nicely resolved as any other top-of-the-line 4K. The endless debris from the countless bullet impacts and explosions never degrade into a smeary mess, and the outdoor shots on the water that use wide lenses, you can clearly see waves all the way to the horizon. Bit rates average between 80 and 90, so no compression issues here, even with all the smoke and billowing haze that permeates this movie. I still can't believe they pulled off the level of clarity and detail that they have here. Definitely one of the biggest improvements I've ever seen from a movie going to 4K. Really blew my socks off. As for the Dolby Vision, like I said before, the film stock used had modest contrast, so there's not really those kinds of deep, inky black levels that I mentioned in other reviews, but that's mostly down to the cinematography. This isn't a particularly visually dark movie for the most part, and most of the night scenes have lighting that kind of spills into the atmosphere. This has never been the most boldly colored movie either, again owing to the cinematography and the use of the aforementioned film stock, but there were a few instances where pops of color surprised me, such as the green exit signs in the hospital and the stylized purple lighting in the basement armory. For sound options, we have original Cantonese mono and the English dub in mono. I know some previous home video releases had 5.1 mixes, and I can't accurately recall the efficacy of those mixes, but at either rate, they're not included here. The audio overall is nothing too exciting, but it's clear enough, and it sounds like hard-boiled. The shotgun blasts still don't sound like any other shotgun in any other movie, with its echoey boom, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Now, my only kinda minor gripe comes with the newly translated subtitles made especially for this release. There are times where they're on screen too briefly. I'm no stranger to watching subtitled films, and some of these are on screen for less than a second. I had to rewind just to catch the whole sentence. The other thing is that this new translation is just a bit, how do I put this, generic? Or maybe too literal? I miss some of the flavor of other subtitles I've watched for this in the past. I don't know if they were dub titles or what, but they had a bit more character. There was more swearing, and I always loved the line when Tequila's superior says, "Give a man a gun and he's Superman. Give him two and he's God." That line always stuck with me, and there's nothing like that in this translation. It just feels a bit more academic, I suppose. Again, just a minor nitpick. This isn't the most subtle movie ever made, including dialogue-wise, and the overall acting sells the gist of a given scene just as well, so I won't get too bent out of shape about it. So yeah, final thoughts are that this is a home run all the way. It turned out way better than I hoped, and my cautious optimism leading up to this release has been replaced with relief and frankly incredulity that they pulled it off and made this movie look this good. For the first time ever, Hard Boiled finally has a picture quality that matches the quality of the movie itself. I really hope I'll be back here again next month saying the same thing about The Killer.